Hello!
Ahoy!
Welcome to this very special episode of Bottom of the Stream.
It's going to be our first time, Ad.
It is. I'm glad that my first time was with you.
Me too. Hold me.
I can't. We're still separated.
Yeah, we're very excited. We are here to do an interview.
Midweek as well.
I know.
They're lucky people getting 2 episodes a week. Yeah, we've got an interview. We've got an interview with a bona fide movie director and movie writer. I'm excited.
Me too.
Who would have thought that would have ever happened?
I know.
So, the movie that we're talking about, I guess, is called I'll Never Forget My High School Friends. And it's currently available for free on Amazon Prime.
Or for a small cost if you're not
you can
a Prime
rent it
member.
if you're not a Prime member. It's a micro-budget coming-of-age movie. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, it's that sort of time period where people are leaving or getting ready to leave high school to head off to college, as they would say in the States, or off to university here in the UK.
Yeah. Do you want to give me a one-word review? Should we do that? Let's do that.
Charming.
Yeah, completely. It's actually a really good film. I sound surprised when I'm saying that, and I shouldn't do because that's harsh, but it is a really good film, and it's well worth your time checking it out.
It is. I think I will state that it's probably not for everyone. But I know people who wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or would be put off, should I say, by the fact that it is a handheld micro-budget movie. But do not let it put you off, because I found this to be a real pleasant surprise. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Good performances and really great chemistry came through. So check it out.
Yeah, it's available now, like we said, on Amazon Prime. It's not on Netflix, but we're still going for it because we got the chance to interview a director and a writer. We weren't going to turn that down.
Sure.
So they co-wrote it and co-directed it, so we should probably give them credit for both roles. We are talking to Sam Asheroff and Raza Rizvi. And I guess we'll just play out the interview now then, shall we?
Let's throw to ourselves.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
It.
No problem. Do you want to introduce yourselves? Let us know who you are and why you're here.
I'm Sam Asheroff. I did a movie with my friend over here, Raza. Raza, say your name, I guess.
I'm Raza Rizvi, co-writer, co-director of this movie. That's on Amazon Prime. Very excited to be here.
And now we're just going to talk about it, I guess, right?
I guess so, yeah. So where do we start? Nick, do you want to start us off?
Sure, can do. Let's talk about this movie. I'll Never Forget My High School Friends. First of all, I watched this last week, and I'm genuinely not just saying this because we've got you on, but I really enjoyed this movie.
Thank you.
I found it quite touching, actually, and really relatable.
Yeah, I'll second that. I agree. I really enjoyed it as well. What
I would describe as a real pleasant surprise. Yeah, congratulations on putting something together that worked so well. I thought it was a really enjoyable experience. I guess the first question I'd sort of like to put to you is feel free to sort of go on as much of a tangent as you want. How did you put this together? Where did it start? What was sort of the genesis of this?
Yeah, me and Raza met, we're not high school friends, so we met in college, and we had a class freshman year together, and then ever since that class, we kind of kept in touch. And then the summer of 2018, I think it was, Raza gave me like a text or a phone call, and he said, let's make a micro-budget feature. And then I was like, I'm down. And then that semester, that fall semester, starting from September, we started just brainstorming, and then I think we wrote a first draft by the end of October, and then we just kept doing new drafts, and then we had a new one by December, and then we started casting and planning and doing all the pre-production, and then that summer of 2019 we just filmed it all.
Wow. Yeah, so it's pretty much like a 1 year total process from conception to the end of the edit.
It's a pretty quick moving project then.
Yeah,
for sure.
we didn't want to waste any time, I guess. We shot everything May 2019, finished shooting early. It was like 12 shoot days, so we finished shooting. We started like May 20 something, ended like June 10th or something like that. I don't even know, June 8th. And then edited the rest of like the summer, and then by August had a finished edit, final cut.
Wow, that is really fast moving.
Yeah, I mean, the editing for this one wasn't anything crazy because a lot of long takes, so it's pretty much just like figuring out how to condense it down. Like, you know, like people have been saying that 90 minutes is too long, but like our original like first cut was like 2 hours and like 50 minutes or something. So it's like it was a struggle to get it down to under 100 minutes, and that's where like most of the editing time took place outside of like all the technical jargon that we had to deal with.
Was there anything in there you were really loath to get rid of, or that didn't quite make it in?
Yeah,
there was
one scene. There was one scene in particular for me. It was a group scene, and they were all in the car, and it was just like a really nice, funny scene where they're all together, just having kind of like a good time. And it's just like one of those moments that would have been nice because, you know, it's just them being friends, and it's just nice. But it didn't actually add any elements to the story or anything like that. It was just a nice character moments, you know. So yeah, it was sad, but it was necessary to get rid of.
And also that acid trip sequence. There's a scene.
Oh yeah,
where Ryan and Tanner they drop acid, like the two friends, and then while they're camping. And then, you know, we shot like, you know, 25 minutes or 30 minutes worth of them just like, you know, freaking out, pretending that they were on acid.
Okay.
and then our, you know, our other editor who like kind of helped in from time to time, he's like edited this like super cool, you know, super freaky acid trip sequence that was like super jarringly, you know, edited.
Yeah, it was kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. It's like such a shift in tone, and then that's something that had to go. But I feel bad because he took like, you know, a decent like 12 to like 15 hours putting that all together, and then we had to like give him a call like, I'm sorry man, but it's got to go.
So what's the background of you guys? You said you met at high school. Were you studying sort of film there, or have you been learning as you've been going along in this process?
We met in college, so we're actually not high school friends.
Okay.
But or university. I know in England it's like everything's university, but yeah. So yeah, we met like the first class that we had. You know, it was a morning class on a Monday, first day of university for both of us, and then we were both majoring in film. So yeah, it was a film school program, and then, you know, from that class on, it's pretty much been like us two. We kept in touch, and then a couple other people from another class that was also, you know, freshman year foundations of film class, and then we just kind of formed like this tight group between like the five of us that, you know, we just enjoy working together. We know each other's like personalities and how to feed off each other and how to collaborate well. So yeah, it was really like the first class, like Monday morning of the first day of university.
That's like fate.
Yeah, we're pretty big like on like, I guess, like the chemistry of film sets in a way. It's because once everyone's like understands each other so well, we just flow so much better. I think like even in like university, we were like notorious for getting like the stuff done so early. But I think that just was because we understood each other so well and what we wanted from each other. Like it was like we didn't have to do much explaining to each other because we already understood what the other person wanted and like was thinking kind of. And that's like when we have that type of group, it was like definitely very beneficial because there was only like 4 of us really on the crew, and then the 5th person was one of the actors in the film, Ryan. His name is Marco in real life. So it's just yeah, it was pretty pleasant to just work together with your friends, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So where did the cast come from? Are they all friends as well, or was there a casting process?
Yeah. Marco, who played Ryan, is our friend from university. The rest, everyone else we casted, and that was like, we were in Chicago for university, so we did most of our auditions through video chat. And then when we selected the cast, we started doing rehearsals via video chat because all of the actors were basically in New York besides the character of Ryan.
We were filming in a suburb of Boston, so we figured it would be easier to get people from New York than to have to like fly people from Chicago or fly people from LA. Just like, have them either drive or get a train or something. It would be cheaper and closer. And yes, but the video chat audition process was pretty cool. We got to audition a lot of people, which was nice. I know like sometimes when you do like in-person auditions, only like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 people show up and then your options are limited. But we literally auditioned like, I would say over 50 people for Pauline, really? And then like, over 25, like 20 to 25 people for Bex, the other characters. And then, but like, the most interesting part was like, I think how it came about, like actually finalizing Ryan, because like, Mark, our friend from college who, ended up being Ryan, like he wasn't like our first choice or anything, or we didn't even consider him really at all to be an option. And we just like kept on, auditioning people for Ryan, and then like none of it was like really clicking with the people who auditioned, and then we like had a chat about it, like, why isn't this, working? Why, aren't these people like, doing well as Ryan? And then, we thought that, like maybe they just don't understand like the full context of the script or the full context of the character, because like the script is, although it's not based off of our personal experiences, the character of Ryan has kind of like similar speech patterns and similar mannerisms as we do. So we figured that they just don't understand like us as people. So, they don't understand Ryan as a person. And then we thought that, maybe Marco, like he has acting experience, he's pretty good. He understands who we are. Maybe he can do well. So then, we gave him the script, we had him read some lines, and it, like, right from the first thing that he read, it already clicked much better. Like, he, like, understood what he had to do and, like, how he had to act as a character, pretty much. And that's how he came about, just, like, casting someone who's, like, he's an actor, but he's not, like, that's not, like, his, like, end goal in life. He's not, like, striving to become a professional actor or anything. He's more in the writing, directing camp. But it definitely worked out for the best.
So he was just hiding under your nose the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, it kind of worked out better in a way because since he would, like, everyone else was in New York and he was in, like, Chicago with us, we were able to rehearse with him literally whenever we wanted in person rather than, like, video chat. Right. So, like, we rehearsed constantly with him, like, in person, and then we had, like, that, like, went through the script all numerous times and stuff, and it was just really nice. So, there was that element of, like, in-person rehearsal was really great with him, especially since he's like one of the main characters.
That's really interesting. I mean, you talked about you guys being good at working together because you were all sort of working towards that same goal. So having him on board with sort of that knowledge as well, I'm sure helped. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
it just helps, like, especially with like communication, because the hardest parts about directing, especially actors, is you have to get them to the super personal zone and mindsets, even though you're not actually that close to them. You don't really know who they are. But with Marco, like, since we already knew each other, it was so much easier to communicate like what we actually wanted out of him, and we didn't have to worry about like that aspect of the creative process, like, oh, is he gonna like what I say here? Is he gonna be insulted? How should I talk to him? Like, that part was already cleared out of the way, because he knows us, so we can like get away with saying whatever we want, and he like understands what we mean, and we don't have to like think that hard about how we're actually trying to communicate to him. We can just like say our mind, and he knows what we mean.
So you said like most of the other cast were auditioned by video audition. So was the first day that they met the first day of shooting, or was there like a meet before that?
We met with Pauline and PJ together in person.
Well, it was Bex and PJ.
Oh,
yeah. Bex? So Sydney and Noah. Sydney plays Bex and Noah plays PJ. We met with them in New York like that winter of 2018. While we were doing some pre-production stuff, I went, because Sam's from New Jersey, so I went over in the winter, and then we thought we'd just like meet up in New York with a couple of the people who were around. So we met up with Sydney and Noah, just to like kind of get a grasp of like how they are, and that was a nice meeting. We just like had coffee and chatted for a little bit about, not really about the script, but mostly just about like random stuff. But but actually, because they were from New York and Sydney had a car, what happened was they took a road trip together from New York to Boston. So that I don't know what happened on that road trip, but it definitely helped like their chemistry together right off the bat, because they had like 5 hours in a car together before, any of the process really started, which I think really helped like that friend group chemistry, because like when you're, especially actors, if they're like stuck in a car together, they'll find a way to get along probably, or they'll figure out stuff to do to make it a good time. And it seemed like they definitely had a good time when they arrived at the house. They were like all, laughing. They already had like their inside jokes and they were chatting with each other. So that was definitely a nice experience when, it was Pauline, Bex, and PJ, the characters. They took the road trip together to Boston, and then that definitely helped, that aspect.
And Pauline knew Tanner in real life. They went to school together. So they already knew each other, and they were knew each other. They were like really good friends. So that already helped. So because Tanner came on board pretty late, and I guess it was kind of a worry of like, oh, how would he adapt this quickly, or if he would be able to
Tanner
adapt quickly.
Was literally casted the week before we started shooting because the other person who we had to play Tanner dropped out.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Yes, that was a nightmare, like a couple days, but it worked out anyway. So like things like, kind of fell into place for the best, like all the like little things that make or break a movie, like chemistry.
It's those
just kind of happen naturally.
Yeah, sure, those sort of intangibles, isn't it, really?
Right. Like you can have like a great script and, a great vision, but if people aren't getting along, then, it won't work out.
Especially on a film like this where it's like all about like the characters and their chemistry together, It's so strange because it's like the way they act, and I feel like if they didn't like each other because they're supposed to be these great friends on screen, it would definitely have came through.
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest selling points of the film is the chemistry between the characters. It really felt like they'd been friends forever. So I'm really surprised now that you're telling me that they barely even met before.
Yeah. It was kind of a strange experience because like we were staying in the same house as well. So it didn't even, like, to us, it didn't even feel like that. We were mostly strangers. Like it felt that everyone had like known each other, like, if not for like years, at least for like, maybe a few months. And it felt like we were a pretty solid friend group while we were in that house, even though we just met over like 2 days. Yeah.
If you're like living together, I guess that definitely adds to it, like we did. But because we all our dinners, we ate together every day. We went out to eat. We got coffee with everybody. We were like hanging out because our shoot days were actually so smooth. We would finish early shooting all the time, and then we would go out, get some coffee, chill. We would have like 2 hour, 3 hour lunch breaks, hang out, and it was like really nice.
Midnight drives.
Yeah, so even like while we were shooting, we were bonding like crazy, and that was just like helping like our chemistry for the next shoot day, and it was like this endless cycle of just building our like love for each other. And then
it wasn't like all business all the time. It was more like we're gonna have fun making a movie, not like we're gonna make a movie and suffer.
You hear that quite a lot, don't you? People falling apart on movie sets. That's refreshing to hear that you've had a good time.
Yeah, like the actual shoot days were the best part of the process, like the easiest part of the process, which is usually not how it goes.
It's so weird. Yeah, like the hardest ones were pre-production and I would say post in a way. Pre-production, because when we got our camera, this was so funny. We got our camera, we got all our equipment like 2 days before like actually shooting, so we could like test everything out, figure out, make sure everything works, it looks nice, this and that. And when we got our camera, we realized that all the footage wasn't compatible with Premiere, which was what we wanted to edit on Adobe Premiere.
Way.
Yeah, and so we were trying to find all these media encoders that can encode the video file, and no media encoder could like do it. And like I bought one, it didn't work, this and that. So we were like trying to figure it out because we needed to look at the footage and we couldn't do it. And then we figured out, okay, if we buy DaVinci Resolve, then that's the only program that we can edit on because it supports it. So we got DaVinci Resolve, but it was going to take like 2 days to come in. So we're like freaking out. We're like, we don't even know if the footage looks good, this and that, blah, blah. And then it's like 3:00 in the morning and we have like this revelation. We were like, wait, we could just plug the camera into the TV and watch playback at dailies.
Retro
and
style.
We're idiots. Yeah, we were freaking out for like a whole like 24 hours trying to figure this thing out, and we're like, oh my god, we're so stupid.
And that was actually even better because like the TV is like this 75-inch like high contrast, it automatically color corrects everything. So it was, and it was really good as well because we actually got to watch dailies with the actors after every shoot day, like how it's supposed to go. It wasn't just like we stash the footage on like our laptop and then no one ever gets to see it.
No, but good. It definitely, in DaVinci, I guess that turned out to be like a hindrance in the long run, because when I was editing in post, when we were doing post production, I was editing. It was a nightmare, honestly. I mean, DaVinci was great, but I couldn't I think it was because I really don't know what was it. Maybe it was because I didn't have enough space on the hard drive or something.
It's like that specific media format that only like that camera shoots on. It's like. It has like I don't know what it is, but it has like a lot of information, or like it's not even compatible with Premiere Pro until like this year. So it just was always super laggy. We had to like buy an extra 10 terabyte hard drive just to like make sure that all the information could store and run in some capacity, even though it was still super laggy, and like it was just like that part of it was super annoying. Just like we couldn't even like watch, like, how when you're editing, usually you can get like scrub through. We couldn't even like scrub through the timeline. Wow. So like if we were making like a more standard movie with like coverage where you had to like cut, in between scenes, like over the shoulders and mid shots and close ups, it would have been over. But because it was like each scene is pretty much one shot, it was much easier to just like, clip it and then lay it out on a timeline and know that, okay, this is the sequence. But if we had to like edit a more standard movie,
it was so hard because like I couldn't get into a proper flow state while trying to edit, and then it took away so much energy from me, and I was just like I wanted to cry. And then but overall I'm pretty happy with the end product and stuff, but that it was just that kind of stuff that
it's better that type of stuff happens in post-production, pre-production than during the actual shoot days, because that way, it's not everybody who has to deal with the issues. It's just like the two of us.
These are challenges that you'll and learning experiences that you'll take forward.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've definitely, especially from post-production, I've learned so much, and ways to be cleaner about things, ways to organize better. This and
yeah,
that.
The organization.
Feature before,
our organization was horrendous.
Disgusting. It's disgusting. But I've definitely learned. I've never edited a feature, so it's like I've definitely now I know. you know,
you've done it now. You've crossed the hardest hurdle. You've done one.
Yeah.
Would you class that as the biggest challenge of making the film then, or is there something that was worse?
I mean, there was those little things like the actor dropping out and stuff like that, but I think the most stressful thing for me was definitely the post-production aspect of it, but only because it was an everyday constant thing, rather than when the pre-production stuff, we figured it out pretty quickly in some sense. But
yeah, the post-production technical issue, that wasn't something you could just fix once. Okay, now the problem's resolved. It's a technical issue you had to deal with every single day. And we basically had to render the timeline every single day, every single night, and it would take 12 hours to render the timeline before we could do anything with it. And so it's just every single day, just having to deal with lag.
It sucked because if I could encode it, then sure I could bring it down, make it more usable to work with, but I couldn't even do that. So it was I don't even know. But that camera was amazing. It was a great camera. And I would use that camera again now that I know that Premiere supports it.
Yeah, what was the camera? It was a Canon X750.
I don't even know, dude. I erased that camera from my mind afterwards, but I'm definitely going to look back into it now.
Yeah, it's a very handy camera.
Yeah.
So, some of the actors were doing some of the filming as well, weren't they? How did they find that?
That was it's for Pauline. I think it was a little challenging because it's not in terms of handling the camera, but they would press a button, and then all of a sudden an ND filter would come on, and the exposure drops by a whole stop or something, and then we had to keep doing takes after takes trying to make sure she didn't press the or even with Ryan sometimes that would happen, I guess I don't know, I can't speak on their behalf, but I guess they weren't like looking at the camera. They were looking at the actors maybe, and they wouldn't realize if they pressed something. But sometimes that would happen, and we would just have to keep doing takes and takes. But other than that, I mean, like, it was pretty awesome. I mean, when we were blocking and directing, we were telling them how to do these small camera like movements for certain scenes, and like how to have like the language of the camera for this scene or that scene. So they basically had the whole understanding of like what to do. So it wasn't really an issue. It was just sometimes maybe they would press a button by accident, and then we would just have to do it again.
Yeah, it's like the camera was like another character in the movie, basically.
Because we had moments in like scenes where if a conversation is getting serious, you know, they're not going to just stick the camera in front of your face as the conversation gets serious. They're going to slowly like lower it, you know, and be more active in the conversation and more present rather than just kind of film it or something like that. Or they put it off to the side, you know, and participate in the conversation because that seems more natural than just sticking a camera in someone's face as they're trying to get real with you, you know?
What was the hardest scene to film then? What was like the most difficult scene to get right?
I think there was two of them. The one that we cut, I think, was just the car scene.
That was about. Yeah, and we weren't like for all the car scenes, we weren't even in the car because like, you know, we couldn't be in the car. So that was just like all the actors is like we were like, okay, here's the camera, you know, here's the mic, go do some takes, and then we would just like hang out on like the parking lot, and they would come back like 45 minutes later, and then we would look at you know what they did, and we were like, all right, might have to do that a few more times. So
yeah, that one, but we ended up cutting that. I get the Pauline and Bex's fight. That took a couple takes.
A couple, like correctly. 14.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, usually, like, we didn't actually do that many takes for a lot of the scenes. We did, like, you know, most of the scenes were only 3 or 4 takes, and we're like, all right, this is, you know, good to go. But, yeah, the Bex-Pauline fight took, like, you know, definitely more than 10 takes. And then also Pauline and Ryan's breakup, that also took a lot of takes over multiple days. And also, that was also hard to shoot because, like, the camera was in, like, this weird spot on like, the corner of the car, and, like, the back of the camera would sometimes, like, fall, you know, we, like, wedged underneath, like, the dashboard, like, steering wheel, and then sometimes it would, like, tilt over or, like, fall over, and there's, like, behind that camera, there's a lot of tape and a lot of, you know, support. So that was, like, both hard to set up and both hard to get the scene right. So, yeah, I would say the Pauline-Ryan breakup scene was probably like the combination of technical stuff plus, you know, actual performance stuff.
Was it tricky to frame some of that stuff, given that you, as you say, you've got this character of the camera, and you have to have that in a place that looks realistic. I.e., in that scene, Ryan's just left it on the dash of the car. Did that affect sort of your framing and planning of a lot of these scenes?
During like pre-production, when we were like figuring out where we put like the camera, we like kind of knew. So, I mean, there were some times when we were like actually blocking the scenes, and we're like, oh, what we thought would work in pre-production didn't. For the most part, we like knew every place the camera was gonna go, and it didn't really affect framing or all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Because we like we had that like mindset.
Yeah, it was like, you know, let's just, like, let's not try to force anything. Let's not think of it in terms of, like, a normal movie where, oh, we want to emphasize a close-up here, so we're going to, like, we're going to try to, like, influence the camera in a way that's not natural. We just be like, okay, how can we just let the scene play out
that
organically
really well,
and let the camera just, like, be at ease?
Because when you have, especially, like, these found footage movies, usually you see them in, like, horror films or sci-fi or something like that, and somehow, like, something crazy's happening, and then, like, let's say the camera falls, and it's, like, perfectly framed in, like, to see what's going to happen or something like that, you know, like, in the shot. But here we didn't, like, focus on that. We were just, like, saying, we knew it had to be just authentic and as much as possible, because this is not, like, this is, like, a dramatic comedy or, you know, coming-of-age story rather than a horror film.
Excellent. So, is there anything you'd change now, looking back on the time shooting or the time making the film?
Yeah. For me, I wish I just watched it again like 2 weeks ago, for like the first time in so long, probably since we'd finished it. But I don't know how I would change it because given the state of like post production, but I wish like the editing was a little smoother on my end, and I wish like some things transitioned better and flowed a little better from scene to scene. But it's hard to say that because given what the experience I know with editing, I don't know how I would have been able to do it.
You're probably coming from a bit of a biased position there because you're spotting things that the audience isn't necessarily picking up on. That would be
that's a good point.
My positive feedback to you, I would have said.
Thank you, appreciate it. That's a good point. I guess, yeah. But I mean, listen, I just graduated college like a couple weeks ago, and I have a feature done. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. But I don't know. What about you, Raza? What would you change? I don't know.
I don't know if there's necessarily anything I would change, but there's definitely a lot that I learned that I would use to like change in the future. One of those things was, especially like during the shoot days, was every time, especially young directors like us, every time we make something, whether it's a short or a feature, it's like how to direct actors. So sometimes it's just, I know it's a bit more difficult in a co-directing space because like sometimes it's maybe not my place to say something, but I think I learned a lot about directing actors and like how to speak up if I feel that something isn't right, even though it might be in the script, even though it's a script that we went over dozens of times. If when we actually shoot the scene, if something doesn't feel right, to like speak up and be like, maybe we can try something different. And like towards like the beginning of the shoot, it all went like, you can think it can go pretty smoothly, but in your mind you can be like, yeah, this is good, maybe if we do this one other thing it might make it better. And sometimes I didn't do that towards the beginning, and then as we like kept on going, then I started speaking up more and more about like just pitching ideas about how we can like adjust certain scenes. So it's just like not being afraid to keep on giving ideas even as the shoot day is progressing. And there's always like stuff, because we didn't have like an AD, we didn't have like anything, so there's always stuff like you have to worry about, like, okay, well, we finish on time, I want to finish this on time, so maybe I'm not gonna. So just like not worrying about time as much and just worry about getting the scene right, because that's what really matters at the end, is getting the scene as good as possible.
So how does a movie like this end up on Amazon?
So originally we wanted to submit to festivals. Well, originally we did submit to festivals, so we finished the film in September of like 2019, like the first, like, or maybe late August, and then we submitted to a bunch of festivals, but a lot of them got canceled due to COVID.
That was going to be one of my questions. How did the current situation affect how you marketed it?
Yeah, so we were waiting to hear back from festivals. A lot of them got canceled. And then a lot of people were just streaming things in quarantine, Probably more people were watching things now than ever, in a way. So we were like, okay, the best thing we could do right now is just try to figure out how to get it out there. And we both started researching, blah, 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 blah. And then we found Amazon Prime Video Direct, which basically, it's actually so simple. You just fill out a form, put all the film's information in it, and then submit the film, and they just review it. And then if you get approved, you could get approved for like Prime, rental, rent, whatever. And then that's it. It's on there. The review took like a month though. Right. So we had to wait like a month, but other than that, it was like super simple. Now it's just like up there, so it's kind of crazy. Yeah,
usually the actual reviewing process they say is 4 business days, but I think because they were getting so many submissions because of the quarantine situation, it was delayed. But I think if things start settling back to normal, the usual time frame is 4 business days to get approved. But it's not like it's really easy. You literally just have to upload it, and that's it. So it's nothing, crazy to have a movie on Amazon Prime. You just have to make sure that it passes their like algorithm quality check or whatever they do.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because it's so many people after they saw it was Amazon, they were like, "Oh my God, that's amazing! Congratulations!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I wish it was a little harder so that it feels like I actually I accomplished something." But,
they all thought you were raking in the big bucks. Now that's it.
Yeah. So I was like,
instead we get 15 cents for every hour.
If only they knew. Very funny, but it's okay. I'll take the small win, I guess, for now.
Yeah, definitely. You picked the worst time to release a film, probably.
Who knows? It's there for people to find, and it's a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah, it's definitely worth finding.
What's next for you guys? you going to work together again?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like we'll produce each other's things every now and then, you know. I mean, also like if I'm writing something, I'll be like, hey, you want to write this with me, or you know, vice versa or whatever. But when we produce each other's stuff all the time, you know, even before we co-directed this and co-wrote this, we were doing like shorts together and stuff like that. So I mean, I think we'll be involved in people's projects, each other's projects, one way or another somehow, you know.
Yeah, this is actually the first time we've ever like actually co-directed anything. We've co-written before, but usually when we co-write, you know, like either I directed or, you know, Sam directs it. This is like the first time we've actually ever co-directed anything. And I don't know if we'll co-direct again, but we'll definitely be involved in producing and writing, you know, with each other for like pretty much like most projects that we have going down the road.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things what we talked about earlier. It's like, since we understand each other to a point, I think it's pretty beneficial that if we produce each other's stuff or like co-write each other's stuff, because we understand each other pretty well.
Or just like be on set to help out. Like Sam just did like this web series pilot, you know, that you know, like I wasn't a co-director, but like, you know, I was on set. Just
he was my wingman.
Yeah, this is a wingman. You know, like he'd be like, "Do you like this idea?" I'd be like, "Yeah, you know, maybe we can do this." Blah blah blah. So you know, I wasn't like a director in an official capacity, but I was just like helping out because like I like personally don't care about like credits or anything really. I just want to make sure there's a good product. Names. Yeah, we have a lot of pseudonyms. Yeah.
So it's like even like roles that don't exist, we'll make up. What was that one? It was like it was instead of AD, it was oh man, I can't remember.
I don't remember, but we just like make up like names of, you know, production roles that don't actually exist just because we're like, you know, we like having versatility. Like we don't want to box people into just like one thing. We want people to just help out as much as they can. We want everyone on set to speak up if they have something to say or if they think an idea is good. We don't want to be like, okay, you're an assistant 100%. Director. You only look at the schedule. You only tell us that we're, you know, behind schedule. You know, like if you have an idea.
I find it weird in a way. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, like I find it weird now, especially like in the like, because we're still so indie and like our feature is like a micro budget. I find it so weird when some people that I've seen are like, stick to your role. You can't contribute this type of like ideas or this and that, and I'm just like, what? And because it's like, I don't know, I know it's collaboration and everything, but I feel like so many people, especially at the stage we're at right now, have so much to offer, and I feel like people aren't like capitalizing on that.
Yeah, like if you have like a 50-person like Avengers Marvel movie set, then yeah, you know, that makes sense to stick to your role just so everything can actually, you know, move forward. But if you only have like 7 people on an independent, you know, short film or feature film, it's like, you know, you can manage. You don't need everyone to.
That was like the main problem we saw at university too, right, Rozzy? You know, like
definitely.
You would have these sets, and there was what they say like too many cooks in the kitchen, you know, and all these people who are like think they're like they stick. I don't know. There's too many people who want to be like in charge, even though let's say there's a director, DP, this and that, and then it makes it basically in the end it just makes a bad product because they're...
Be like, you know, it's literally like a 4-minute, you know, short film, but for some reason there's like 27 people, you know, in like one apartment. It's like, I don't know, that part of, you know, university didn't make sense to me when people would like try to get like as big of a production as possible, even though at that stage, when you don't have any money, it's always better. Like, I don't know if this is an actual saying, but, you know, if you just get a group of friends together and make a movie, it's probably going to be better than like trying to orchestrate this like super elaborate production with like 20 people and like vans and trucks and permits and everything, you know.
Like we made a feature with like 4 people on the crew, and every single short film or set I saw in university, there was literally like 30 people there. Even like I'm to blame too in a way, because I remember when I was doing a school project for my directing class, I don't know what happened. The next thing I go to set and there's like 50 people there or whatever.
Yeah, I was there too. I didn't even do anything.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, who are all these people?
But that was definitely a good experience for Sam and for me as well, because like Sam, like he was like the director on that project, so he was like, okay, I'm never going through this again. I'm never having this big of a production on this small of a scale again. And then I was there. I don't even know why I was there. I didn't have to be there, but
people were taking naps. People were sleeping.
There's literally like, it was like at a house. There was like, you know, there was just like gaffers, just like literally sleeping, and no one needed them. So they just like went in the bedroom.
It was
just
one
like
of the most mind-boggling things I've ever seen. I'm like, what's going on?
But that was
here?
definitely a good experience because we were like, okay, when we do stuff,
I can just picture some diva tantrums. I'm going back to my couch to nap.
Yeah, it's so weird because I would talk to like the people who are in charge of like let's say the camera department or whatever, and I'd be like, hey, can we like we don't need this many people. And then everyone start like in the camera department would start freaking out, like, "No, we need them." And I'm like, "What?" But it's like whatever.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and then with you guys having only sort of 6-7 of you, it'd be crazy not to sort of take input from those people who are that immersed in it. Like you say, you're all living together as well, so. And I think that's probably one of the reasons, as Ad said earlier, why the chemistry really worked, because that was probably the make or break, wasn't it? You know, you can have a great a script as you want, but really for this movie, it's that chemistry that made it work.
Yeah, and like the script went out the window a lot of the times too. It's just like, you know, the cast like kind of doing their own thing with their own characters, and we were just like the camera was just there, you know, recording like this natural experience. So. Like even I don't even know what's in the script and what's improv anymore. Like there's some scenes that are like right, like where like every word that we wrote in the script is said like, you know, to the T, and then there's other scenes where none of what was written in the scene is actually, you know, in the scene. But I think that's a good thing. I actually don't know what was improv and what was scripted. Great. So
Tanner was pretty good at that too. It's like because he would stick to the script and then he would throw these like ad libs in there that I'm like. I'm convinced that we wrote, but we didn't write for sure. I'm still convinced that we wrote it, but like I don't even know how some of these actors did it. I don't know because it just came off like right out of their mouths, like it was meant to be there. But it's some wild stuff.
LeBron James, Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
I thought he was very good. I like that character. You know, I almost as I was watching this, I was a bit dismissive, sort of Tanner as the sort of fifth person and this typical stoner type character, but then he really brought it through in the end. It was quite touching, sort of his parting scene with Ryan and sort of when they're sitting in the woods realizing that it's one of the last times they're going to spend together. I think that worked really well.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to do like a subversion type of thing with that character, and you know, give everyone an arc, even, you know, the fifth person who, you know, seems like an immature lunatic, but you know, even he can get serious, and he actually learns his lesson, comes of age, and matures faster than the main character. So that's definitely something that we had in mind, is like make the super obnoxious guy actually wind up being super vulnerable towards the end, and you know, showing that he does care, he does have a mind, you know, he actually has a path forward in his life.
I think we've all met a Tanner as well. That's one of the reasons why it worked for me.
The crazy thing about Michael, the guy who played Tanner, when he came late to the project, I remember the first day I met him in person. He came to the house, and our cinematographer Danny, he took my car to go pick him up from the train or bus station or whatever it was, and he brought him there. He brought him to the house, and I came downstairs because I saw that they came home. So I went to go introduce myself, and Danny is handing me like this yellow-orange envelope. And I'm looking at Danny, I'm like, what the hell is this? And he hands it to me, and it was a parking ticket. And I start, because I'm from New Jersey, and me and Danny from New Jersey, so we start like freaking out like Jersey style a little bit, you know? We're like, whoa, what is it? You know? And then Tanner, who I haven't met yet really fully, is just watching us. And then next thing I know, he like imitates us completely in some type of sense, and like all our mannerisms and like the way we like go high pitch and then he brings it to like life in the movie, and it's like really funny to see. But,
yeah, like right off the bat, he definitely understood what we were going for based off that like, you know, crazy thing that happened where there was like screaming at like for no reason, because like apparently, like I haven't experienced this, or I don't know about this, but apparently according to Anna, who plays Pauline and who knows Michael, apparently he's like usually a super quiet, shy person, but I never saw that, so I don't know if it's true.
I never saw that either. It's like the craziest thing to hear, because it's so interesting. They're like, we're filming, and Anna's like, you've changed him. Yeah, Michael's great. I was literally just talking to him the other day. But yeah.
Excellent. I think we should about wrap it up there, don't you?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, thanks for having us on and for going away from your typical Netflix movies to make one exception.
Pulled us over to the dark side.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where the true hidden gems are.
You got anything you want to plug? Your Twitters, Instagrams, anything like that before you go?
Yeah, I mean, my Instagram is Samuel Ashurov, Ashurov, and Samuel spelled Samuel. Same with Twitter. You could hit me up on there if you want, or don't. It's okay. I forgive you.
Let him know how good the film is.
My Instagram is Raza Rizvi 2809, RAZARIZVI 2809. I have a Twitter, but I'm not active. I'm a deep lurker, so don't try to find me on Twitter. Instagram, and then Instagram's for me. And yeah, the movie is on Amazon Prime in the US and the UK. And the Instagram for the movie is Never Forget My High School Friends.
Yeah, the movie's I'll Never Forget My High School Friends. Yeah,
that's too long for a username.
Instagram. But thank you guys for watching a micro budget. That's awesome.
No worries. Thanks for making it.
Yeah, thanks for that, and thanks for coming on. It's really been enjoyable to chat to you guys.
No, yeah, you guys as well. This was fun.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
And you.
Have a good day.
Cheers. So there we have it. Our first interview done and dusted.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. And like I say, get the chance to go and check out I'll Never Forget My High School Friends, then do so.
Yeah, definitely go out and check it out. Like we said at the beginning, it's on Amazon Prime, and if you've not got Amazon Prime, you can rent it from Amazon and watch it that way. I'll quickly run through our socials as well, being those guys got a chance to and we didn't. Our Twitter is @BATS_podcast. Our Facebook is facebook.com/bottom of the stream. Our Instagram is also @BATS_podcast. We have a website, www.bottomofthestream.com. And we also have a Patreon. If you want to join us over there, you'll get the episodes a little bit earlier than everybody else, if I can be bothered to edit them on a Saturday. You'll get some bonus episodes, some merch, a newsletter every month that Nick writes. And it's just a couple of quid a month. And I think it's well worth it.
Sure. If you can't do that, then can you please leave us a review on Podchaser or on Apple Podcasts or any other place that you get your podcast from? Because that really helps the algorithm and puts us in people's ears, which is where we want to be.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought. And if you want to hear any more of these sort of different style of episodes, I guess, something a little bit different for us. And just let us know and we'll do what we can.
Other than that, we're going to dive back down, aren't we? And we'll...
Yep, straight back down to the stream, bottom of the stream on Monday morning.
Yeah, check us out there.
Cool. See you then.
Cheers.
Bye.